Hello. This is our final tutorial for November. So I start out here mixing two colors for the snowman, a cool blue-gray and then kind of a warmer purple. And I start out by mixing the blue right out from the palette, which may be too bright for this painting, having it straight blue. So mixing its complement on the color wheel, which is orange, will take the brightness away from the blue and kind of make it a duller, more gray color. In other words, mixing orange into the blue, make it less blue. And then I mix a warm purple, which basically I'll be mixing in a touch of red to warm that up. And then the temperature of a color can be changed by mixing it with a warmer or cooler color. So for example, a cool blue may be warmed up by adding a touch of red, and a warm yellow can be made cooler by adding a cool green. And I'll go more in depth on color mixing maybe in one of next month's videos. All right, let's dive right into the painting now. So I start out by pre-wetting the snow on the ground, that area just on the outer edge of the snowman, with clean water. So I just pre-wet that. And I go in and I place the purple that we mixed right onto the pre-wet area. Just leaving a few areas of white showing through just to give it a little bit of dimension. And then I'll go right over top of that purple with that blue mixture that we mixed up. And that's the blue goes around the area closest to the snowman, and just let it naturally blend into each other. And so next you're going to clean that brush and make sure it's not sopping wet. It can be a little bit wet, just not dripping. Blend out the outer edges of the snow to soften those hard edges. So it just kind of gives a blended look to that area. And I actually go in one more time with the blue and darken up the area closest to the snowman's base while everything's still wet, so it naturally just blends into each other. And then if you wish for a little bit more texture, sprinkle in some salt and let that naturally dry. And next, you're going to want to go in with the same blue color, and we're going to do some of the shadowing at the base of the snowman's head and blend those edges out. It's quite minimal in this area, so just pay attention to where I'm placing that color. This will really help ground his head to the body so it doesn't look like it's just floating in midair. Next, we're going to do the first layer of the bucket hat. So take the same blue mixture that we used for the snowman and paint the first layer onto dry paper for the bucket hat, not painting the whitest highlights of the hat. So just leave those white when you go in and block in the color. Now take any dark mixture. I use black to paint in the eyes. And I use just a basic orange color for doing the nose as well. And I used just a shade of orange and then a darker shade of orange. I mixed in a little bit of deep red into the mixture just to add a little bit of shadowing. But that'll be up to you. If you want to just block it in one color, that's great. For the second layer of the bucket hat, just to add a little bit more shadowing, I took the existing blue color that I had mixed up for the entire painting, and I added a little bit of purple and black into it just to darken that mixture up, because I want to go in with a second coat on the hat and just put in some of the darkest darks to add a little bit of depth and dimension to it. I'm going to place this color on the outer edges of the hat, and I cleaned my brush and got the excess water off and just blended those edges out. And then next up, I just take the black color that I used for his eyes and block in his little twig arms. I like to use my smallest brush for this detail work of the arms and then the handle of the hat there. And I believe I used a size 2 brush for that final detail work. I love this last shot. I don't know if you can see, but my paint is actually quite glittery, which I absolutely adore. And for next month's tutorials, we're going to keep it simple, kind of like we did this month, but maybe leaning away from the winter scenes.